Hello everyone, my name is Stefan Botanist Cool, and hey, again, today we are raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. This is the last week of the event. Well, technically the event actually just ended, but we're still accepting donations for the next 7 days. So if you guys can, make sure to check out the description for that donation box and donate if you can. If you have $1 or $2, please donate. I'd be extremely grateful. We've already raised $950 from the time I'm recording this before the 25-hour stream I'm doing on Saturday the 27th. So, hey, thank you guys very much for getting us to this point, and thank you very much for all of your support for this amazing cause, and thank you for just being an awesome community. So, yeah, I guess a million times thank you. Let's get on to the painting. So today was a very special paint. I actually got to paint with my best friend and brother Elijah, an amazing individual who decided to paint a Tyranid. Beans, I forgot what it was called. A fancy Tyranid that he talks about more in the actual VOD. So if you guys like Warhammer, want to know about how he's painting this Tyranid, you're going to have to check out the VOD. He has all the information. He also showed us one of his... Oh, I forgot his name. His other Warhammer models that just has his ass completely out. Assless chaps. It is fantastic. It is glorious. And I forgot his name. Again, if you like Warhammer, he's going to have all the information for you in the actual VOD. So go check that out. He is amazing at painting. He taught me what I was painting. And all of his links are also going to be down below. Anyways, I decided to get the Clockwork Dragon Pathfinder Mini, which I really enjoyed, and decided to style it in the style of the Equal Dragon weapon from Monster Hunter, which is something that you all seem to be interested in seeing Monster Hunter designs put onto D&D and Pathfinder minis from WizKids and shit. So I had a lot of great fun with this. The paints I did use were all from the Army Painter War Paints. They were Kieran Gold from the D&D collaboration, Silver Dragon from the D&D collaboration, the Fire Newt Orange, no, actually not Fire Newt Orange, Rust Monster from D&D collaboration, Glistening Blood from the D&D collaboration, Skeleton Bone from the D&D collaboration, and True Copper from the base set of the Army Painter War Paints. Now, I did have a few other paints I was considering using that I once again talked about in the VOD, like, as an example, Altigue Brown and Cobalt Red and Fire Newt Orange, as I said a second ago, but I didn't need to use all of these right now. I actually plan to use things like Cobalt Red in the future, but let's not get into that at the moment. So, first things first, I wanted to make the Equal Dragon weapon out of this Clockwork Dragon Mini, which is going to be a little difficult because the Equal Dragon weapon is part 30 Kushala Daoras and part machine from the ancient civilization. So I actually have to find a way to make flesh work in this Clockwork Dragon. And I did find a way to do that. So I started painting silver on all the big parts, right? And I got distracted in the details here and there, but I did start painting silver on the neck, tail, shoulders, chest plates, etc. And I found that in between certain areas on the ribs, on the actual like stomach area, and on the back of the legs would look pretty natural for some fleshy red bits to come out, right? So I started mixing Glistening Blood and Rust Orange or Rust Monster together to make a orangey red vibe that wouldn't be quite bloody, but almost look fleshy and almost look I couldn't get it to look old because I want this thing to look old eventually, but I got it to look a little fleshy and a little less bloody and liquidy. I got it to make it look a little solid, which I was very happy with. I then painted all around that with the actual silver to mimic the iron, which I'm going to darken up later. On its back, I did use skeletal bone to actually take some of the parts that are supposed to be like iron turning cogs and turn it into like spinal cord bones, as if it was building around the spinal cord, which I think was a really good addition. I think I'm going to try to edit that a bit more later on as well, add some more definition to those bones. I think that'd be really, really cool. And for the wings, I used Altigue Brown, I believe, and I used Monster Brown, which I forgot about, from the I used Monster Brown from the Army Painters, base set to actually make a canvas looking thing. It was quite by accident that I made it as nice as I did. I actually put the Altigue Brown, which is a lighter brown, on it at first, and then I used a dry brush Monster Brown over, which is a darker brown. Now that's kind of like the exact opposite of what you typically do with dry brushing, which you use dry brushing to have a lighter color highlight the differences in height and all that kind of stuff between like the dark and the light spaces. However, I realized if this is a sleeping machine that's not been used by the ancient civilization of Monster Hunter for ages, all the higher parts, all the parts exposed to the air would be a darker, dirtier brown because they're being exposed to the air. So the underside of the wing is actually a lot lighter than the upper side of the wing. It still has its dark spots, it's still lighter. And the upper side of the wing has a lot of light splotches from areas that are kind of in crevices and nooks from when the wings would be folded into the dragon's body while it's actually being stored. And I think that was an accidentally great move on my end. It was nowhere near on purpose. I'm not that good. But I really, really liked that kind of move on there. Overall, I basically just got some bases done on this dragon, and I plan to eventually use either like a gray like stone dungeon mixed with matte black wash to help make that iron silver look a little older, a little darker, maybe add a little bit of rust here and there. Actually, I plan on utilizing the cobalt blood color to make that fleshy part look older and rotted, maybe mix with a bit more brown as well. Use it kind of almost like a wash, kind of have it so that's like 3 parts water, 1 part paint kind of deal. I think that will work out very well. I do want to define the fleshy parts more first because it feels, specifically on the legs, it's not super well defined, and I got to get that definition down better. The leather on the brown, which I've actually used again the monster brown for, the leather on the neck and the chest plates, I used just because I feel like there's a lot better choice to have leather there. I'm going to be taking all those little dots and actually just doing a little boop of like a copper on there. I think that'll be really cool. Add a little color variety while also showing that there is like depth and dimension to the actual mini itself. And the face I've barely done. I literally just kind of painted 2 side things on the faces and the cord in gold. Again, we're mimicking the Equal Dragon weapon, which is not ever canonically been put in there. There's just like 1 or 2 pieces of concept art from the devs, so I had to do my best, and it had some gold horns looking things, so I put that in there and did the best I could with it. To talk about the Equal Dragon weapon a little bit for Monster Hunter's sake, the Equal Dragon weapon is actually like, again, as I said, it's not canon, it's more fanon at this point. People love the Equal Dragon weapon. They keep talking about it, what it's all about, how it, how it affected the ancient war between the ancient civilization and the dragons. There's so much in there. I don't want to pack it up all now, but I will say this. If the Equal Dragon weapon ever does come into play into Monster Hunter canon, what I want to happen is I want the Equal Dragon weapon to be like a penultimate fight, not the last fight, a penultimate fight. So like the second to last, third to last, something like that, right? We fight the Equal Dragon weapon. Halfway through, it pulls a Magna Malo on us. So, you know, the same way Magna Malo jumps down to help us fight Narwa, I want, and I kid you not, because of the history and the lore of how much this thing hates humanity and what it did during that ancient Dragon War, I want Fatalis to come down and have a fucking turf war with it. I think that would be fucking sick. Like, it's a big, my enemy of my enemies is my friend kind of deal for just a singular moment. Fatalis hates humanity and humanity's creation so much, it destroys the ancient stuff, and then is going to come after us. So the final fight is against Fatalis, obviously. Fatalis has come by, taken a good chunk of health off the Equal Dragon weapon, and we finish off the Equal Dragon weapon. Fatalis is watching from a certain distance away and waits for us to come out so that it can start attacking us, because everything human is bad, but if we didn't take down the Equal Dragon weapon, you know, it could be hurt significantly more than we would be. It's fine if we sacrifice ourselves to the Equal Dragon weapon, but it doesn't want to sacrifice itself to the Equal Dragon weapon. It wants us to die to it, and then it can finish it off once it's super weak, you know? I think that would be cool. I want that to happen. Please, Capcom, listen to my pleas. I love you. Let this happen in Wild or something, please. Anyways, we're at the end of our video. Check all the links down below for the charity stream, for Elijah, for all that cool stuff. His nid came out fantastically, so he did amazingly. Thank you, Elijah, for joining on in. And I think that's about all I have for today. y'all stay safe. Enjoy the little spinner you're going around. Stay Botanist Cool, and I'm gonna see you for the next mini painting video. Again, check out the description if you want. There's even a throne down there. You can help me get some minis. Bye, everyone.